Firstly, sorry we are starting this session slightly delayed. We had two sessions today. The first one, business opportunity with IIFLCapital, and second one, session on algo trading with Mr. Saurabh Sisodia. So Mr. Saurabh is already here. So I just want to have an idea how many have come here for business opportunity meet. If you can just raise the hand. Okay. So I have a small presentation. Okay, I'll not take much time. So people who have come for Saurabh's event can also, bear with us and, listen in case they change their mind and decide to become our partner along with being a client. Okay, so I'll quickly run through the session. Okay. And probably latest in next 15 to 20 minutes or say latest half an hour, we'll also ask, we'll start Mr. Saurabh's session. So once again, good morning all of you. And it's my pleasure to welcome you all today. My name is Praveen Kavadimatti. I take care of B2B business for South. I have been with IIFLCapital for over 15 years now. So I've been here past 2 days and seen this magnum opus event unfold. A lot of insightful sessions and many industry stalwarts and veterans giving their insights into what we can expect going forward on the wealth creation generation. We also heard Nirmal sir talking about wealth and legacy, right? Drawing insights and inputs from them. It is nothing that they have spoken something new or which we were not aware. So they time and again reiterate and reinstating only infuses a lot of confidence that we are at the right place. So next 15-20 years belongs to India. So on that note, I would also like to thank the JITO community, IIFLCapital being the sponsors for this event, giving us this opportunity also to talk about partnering with IIFLCapital. So I'll begin the session with this slide, which is also, this slide is displayed at a couple of places there. Journey of IIFLCapital, which spreads over almost 3 decades of trust, innovation, and transformation. Right? The story began in the year 1995 when Nirmal Jain and Mr. Venkatraman, the co-founder, started with property research. Before the internet era or when it was just taking off, creating research reports, equity reports for the corporates. Then in the year 1999, they started IndiaInfoline.com, and in the year 2000, they started first online trading platform, yet again when the internet was taking off. So 2005 was initial big milestone where the holding company India Infoline got listed on the stock exchange. Then 2007, 2008, they started institutional research and investment banking. 2010, we attracted strategic investment from Fairfax, which is run by Mr. Prem Vatsa. He is also known as Warren Buffett of Canada. So next 10 years were again transformational in nature. We kept achieving new milestones and the lot of rewards and recognitions followed. In the year 2019, there was a major restructure where IIFL India Infoline Limited as a holding company got demerged into 3 different companies: IIFL Securities, IIFL Finance, and IIFL Wealth. So IIFL Securities, which is today IIFL Capital Services Limited, and IIFL Finance, which is an important NBFC franchisee managing around 84,000 crores. So IIFL Finance, under IIFL Finance, you have IIFL Housing Finance and Samastha Microfinance, which is a 100% subsidiary of IIFL Finance. And IIFL Wealth, which is 361 Wealth today. So IIFL Wealth, until as we speak, manages around 5 lakh crores and the largest wealth management company in India. So they went their own way a couple of years back. They changed the name, got their own licenses, and known as 361 Wealth. So all three companies are public limited companies and listed. The purpose of this demerger was to so that they can focus on their respective strengths. And 2019 to 2023-24, we again saw a transformational change where we evolved as a company. Particularly, I'm talking about IIFLCapital Services Limited, where we invested in the technology, right? And whatever was suitable from the client perspective was made available from the platform, reporting, and all such things. Okay, what sets us apart, or what have we achieved in last 30 years? So, we are one of the largest and the strongest financial company in the respective space. So, we manage an AUM of around 2,50,000 crores with a net worth of around 2,200 crores. And our reach is across 4,800 partners spread across India, supported by the institutional team who have presence in Mumbai, Singapore, London, New York, okay, catering to all domestic and global investors. Of course, the research, we cover close to 280 stocks. In fact, it is 300 plus stocks spread across 20 sectors. So research and technology is another big differentiator for us. And the trust and the governance holds the key to all of this. Talking a little bit about investment banking from partners' perspective, it is consistently ranked in top 3 lead managers and investment banking companies. So having said that, if any of your clients who have SMEs or MSMEs or run company or at some point of time wish to list on the main boards, then we can definitely help them raise funds. And if they are already listed, then probably we can look at raising the rights issue or any form of funds, or if they want to get into a block deal, dilute shares, we are always there to help them. Right? So these are some of the IPOs where our investment banking team were the lead managers. Popularly, your ICICI Prudential Life Insurance, HDFC Life. So your latest, you have NetWeb, RateGain, HDFC AMC, to name few. Okay. So coming to what matters, like I said, we are one of the largest financial services distribution company, and we have an open product architecture. We have a couple of products of our own, but we are not biased towards any product. So before onboarding any product onto our system, it goes through a proper due diligence, which is approved by the investment committee, which caters to all segments of clientele, from your moderate to aggressive to conservative approach, as well as for the all ages. So we being members of NSE and BSE, of course, We have direct equity, commodity and currency. Plus, we are again the largest distributors of all the mutual funds. Plus, we have over 40 PMSs, close to around 55, 60 AIFs, manufactured by at least some 25, 30 odd AMCs, multiple funds. Of course, ETFs and your bonds, debentures, debt PMS, pre-IPO opportunities in the form of CAT2. We also deal with a couple of them directly with the companies who wish to dilute, and we further download it to our customers. Algo strategies. We have one algo important session coming up after this. In fact, Mr. Saurabh Sisodia is already here, and he is also one of our esteemed partner. Okay, these are additionally value-added services which our partners can also utilize these services. It could be tax advisory, or it could be succession planning, legal services, NRI business, offshore funding. This is an important slide. I'll talk a little bit more on the last box, rapid wealth creation in Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities. So there has definitely been an unprecedented growth in the wealth creation in India, and I think this decade definitely belongs to Bharat. So what we call Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities. If I have to share a couple of data points, over 55% of the demat accounts which are opened in last 5 years are from Tier 2, Tier 3 cities. And in last 5 years, wealth creation has grown over 2x compared to the wealth creation in the metros. And less than probably 10-15% of the population there or the investors have approach to the structured advisors or the fund managers who can take care of the portfolios. So that throws a lot of opportunities for the people getting into that space and to establish a long-term relationship. Yeah, again, talking about the AIF and PMS AUM, when we talk about wealth creation and the growing mass affluent class and the HNI segment in India, PMS AUM has doubled in last 5 years to 37 lakh crores today. And in 2015-16 AIF, the total asset under management was around 1.5 lakh crores. As we speak, today it is around 14 lakh crores, the total committed amount. So when we talk about wealth creation, I think it goes hand in hand. I don't have to say, we can easily look at these AUMs growing by 2x, 3x in next 5 to 10 years. So money is quite obvious to get into these funds. Yeah. This is another important slide. What we are talking about, the unprecedented wealth creation in India. As we all know, next 15-20 years belongs to India. India is shining. We are one of the fastest, in fact, the fastest growing economy in the world. Country with the highest working population, close to 98 crore people are in the working age, basically. Right? And thanks to COVID, what has happened is people are moving from physical assets to financial assets. And had we left our fathers and grandfathers to invest, they were more of a saving community than the investing community. Now, if we talk about this generation is financially more literate, and rather than only looking at real estate and gold, which is definitely these metals are doing great, they're also looking at other alternatives like PMS, AIF, mutual funds, and other structured products. And any wealth creation story has a wealth advisor associated with them who has helped them make right decisions and help them grow. That is where, you and we make the difference. So this is one chart which talks about FY22 to FY27 for the various income level, starting with your retail, MNIs, HNIs and ultra HNIs, how the wealth AUM has doubled from almost 70 lakh crore to around 1 lakh 40,000 crores, right? And the major contribution has come from the range 50 lakhs to 6 crores, where the AUM has gone from 10 to 12 to 24 to 28 lakh crores. So that is the kind of, humongous wealth creation which we have to address. Now, coming to the point, what we have in store for our prospective partners. So we have a robust platform, what we call AAA, Advisor Anytime, Anywhere. Now I can call it, this is office in your pocket. AAA is our back-end operations tool, or you can also call it front-end. And what does it do? I have to tell you, this is also an app which you can download from your Play Store, iOS or your Android phone. So you don't have to sit in the office to service your clients. If you are traveling to a client's place, or if you are at the native or whatever. So the kind of features that AAA has got, it will show you all the clients, their net worth, their holdings in mutual funds, their holdings in equity, plus your research reports. In case you have to share your realized and unrealized profit on the spot to your clients, if you want to know at what price he has bought, if you again want to know a particular stock which is held by the number of clients, everything is available there. In fact, if your clients are also holding PMS, it will also give you the valuation which we update once in a month. The same holds good for AIF also. The number of SIPs, if the SIPs have stopped. So all kind of various reports are available to you along with the insights. So out of all the features, I would like to talk about one feature called Invest Edge. Now, how this is going to help you onboard more clients or service your clients in a better way. So Invest is a fintech company, which we have collaborated with or, integrated. So what it does is, if you can convince your client to share his PAN number and take a OTP from him with his consent, you will be able to download the client's mutual fund holdings across the industry. If he has got an account with IIFL, Moti, Kotak, Sharekhan, Zerodha, wherever, and his mutual fund investment is across all the brokers, so you will get one consolidated report through this InvestEdge. And with the insights, comparing it to the benchmark, if there are any duplications, which is the highest holding, how was it done compared to the benchmark, what is the alpha generation, everything, you will get a lot of insights. Now you have a lot of, old age customers, or, the investors have no idea where they have invested. Some are in demat form, some are in physical form. They are all spread across, and he does not have a consolidated report. Probably this can help him, right? And this also has one feature called Invest GPT, right? We all have access to Perplexity or your Google Gemini or your Chat GPT. Now this has Invest GPT. Now what does Invest GPT do? If you are about to meet the client, okay, in a span of 30 seconds, it throws you data, what are the points of discussions. So it is like a Google where you can ask anything and everything about global market, US market, gold prices, currency or whatever, and you can just be prepared to talk to the client in a fraction of seconds, 10-15 seconds. So this is one feature we can help you onboard clients, and clients will also be happy that you have gone prepared, right? What makes sense is client today he is exposed to various reports, and he is more smarter and intelligent than us. So unless we have something substantial wisdom or some stuff to deliver, then he may not listen to us for a longer time. So this tool can definitely help you onboard more clients. This is the last slide on awards and recognitions. So this brings the end of this PPT, but I would like to take you through an important part, like how you can empanel with IIFL Capital Services. There are two ways we can empanel. One is we can register you as an authorized person with the exchange, where you can deal with all the products that we have to offer. Other way is, now, okay, you are not an equity person, direct equity person, where you don't have clientele, they are happy investing wherever they want, but you take care of their mutual funds, PMS, AIF, health, life insurance kind of a thing. You can only associate with us as a marketing associate. We call that as a marketing associate. So these are two ways. So I can proudly say we have one of the largest team in any broking house to cater to our partner clients. So each state, if I have to talk, I take care of South. Be it AP, Telangana or Karnataka, we have minimum 10 to 12 member team who are part of back office, runner boys to each relationship manager or a business development manager managing around 25-30 clients. Today, until 2018-19, broking was our cash cow for IIFL Capital Services. So we made a conscious decision, understanding that the way the wealth is growing and people are not only looking at broking, also looking at other investment avenues like PMS, AIFs and unlisted securities. So accordingly, we are also associated with the Wealth Spectrum. If you have heard about this, Wealth Spectrum, most of the wealth management companies use this software where we provide these login credentials to our direct clients who will be able to track their equity investments to your mutual funds, PMS, AIF, again with various permutation combination reports. That is one thing. Yeah, so for you people sitting here, I understand most of the partners are not efficient, or I don't say efficient, or experts in pushing all the products. So for that, to cater to life and health insurance, we are associated with the top private health and life insurance companies. We have a dedicated team to support you, where you only have to identify the leads and our team will go and do the closing there. And we also have product champions for PMS and AIF. So who are individually capable of understanding the needs of the customers, whether he is looking at long-term, short-term, flexi-cap, whether he is looking at unlisted space, and accordingly, like I said, we are not biased towards any single product. So we have plethora of products to offer to the clients. So again, you have to identify the leads and just fix a meetings. Either we can do a joint call, or we can individually go and talk to the clients and convince him to invest through us on various aspects. So that is all from my side. So this is the right time to get into this space. Like I said, next 15-20 years, there's nothing stopping India from growing and see this unprecedented growth in wealth creation. So thank you one and all. And if there are any questions, we can take it generally, or we can move on to the next session. As I can see a few partners, I can talk to them individually and take up the questions. Thank you. Thank you one and all for patiently listening. Thank you. I would like to invite Mr. Saurabh Sisodia on the stage, who will be presenting the next session on the algorithm efficiency, way forward, where we are headed. Mr. Saurabh Sisodia is also one of our esteemed partner in Mumbai. Saurabh, please welcome on stage. Yeah, on to you.
Good afternoon. So, Hindi, English, what is comfortable? Huh? Mix? Hindi chalega na? So see, whenever people say कि wealth creation, everyone thinks 25 दिन में पैसा double. Like when I go to functions also, relative will say कि यार कोई ऐसा स्टॉक बता दे जो डबल हो जाए फटाफट. They think कि यार हमको पता होता है कौन सा स्टॉक डबल हो सकता है. So no one knows कि कौन सा स्टॉक डबल होगा या मार्केट में पैसा 25 दिन में डबल नहीं होता है. So today we'll talk with data कि how you can approach markets. We'll talk about algorithms which is picking up with data and जो भी बात करेंगे data से बात करेंगे. So we'll discuss firstly stock market में पैसा डालना क्यों है, कैसे डालना है, and what are these algorithms? How can we use them? So a short intro. I've been in the stock market since last 10 years. I regularly come on CNBC, ET now. I've talked at IIT Bombay. I've coached all largest trading desks of the country. So enough about me. So see, first I'll tell you why. So see, I had the privilege to interact with the smartest people in the stock market. So this is Nitin Kamath, net worth 40,000 crore. Nikhil Kamath, Vijay Kedia, Ramesh Damani, Ramdev ji, Navneet Munot. One thing I learned is, in all my conversation, everyone said one thing, that our secret to wealth is compounding. And they said we were at the right place at the right time. Everyone used the word lucky and everyone said compounding. So let's see what is this compounding. I think most of the people know compounding. I'll explain with a short story and then we'll begin with data, why to invest in the Indian stock market. So एक राजा था, उसके किंगडम में ट्रैवलर आया. He wanted to play a game of chess. So the game started and eventually what happened? The traveler won the game. King said, now because you won the game, आपको जो चाहिए मैं आपको दे दूंगा. तो ट्रैवलर ने बोला मुझे सिर्फ एक दाना राइस का चाहिए. किंग बोलते यार पागल है, सिर्फ एक राइस का दाना मांग रहा है. I could have given you anything. बोला नहीं मुझे सिर्फ एक राइस का दाना चाहिए. बट माई कंडीशन इज फर्स्ट पे रखो एंड हर अगले स्क्वायर पे डबल करो. किंग बोलता है इतनी छोटी सी बात. किंग बोलता है ठीक है. तो एक रखा, डबल किया सेकेंड, थर्ड पे इट बिकेम 4. ऐसे करते करते बाय द टाइम दे रीच द 16 स्क्वायर इट वॉज 32,000 राइस ग्रेन्स. 20th स्क्वायर तक ऑलमोस्ट 5 लाख. 32 सेकेंड स्क्वायर मतलब बेसिकली बीच पे आते आते 214 करोड़ राइस ग्रेन्स. एंड बाय द एंड ऑफ इट जो नंबर है मैं पढ़ भी नहीं सकता हूँ, बट बेसिकली सो मच राइस दैट यू कैन कवर एंटायर इंडिया विद दैट राइस एंड स्टिल हैव सम राइस लेफ्ट. So this all started with 1 grain of rice, but this is the power of compounding. And see, I keep talking to all top people in the stock market. This is what I like to do. And one thing they repeatedly have seen is that our secret to wealth creation is compounding. There are 4,000 billionaires in the world, and all have become billionaires because they hold large block of common stocks. So one thing is clear कि basically we have to compound our money. Now let us see what are the avenues of compounding. Nifty, since it has started, has given 14% CAGR, which is good enough. This has like beaten most asset classes. Now, see सबसे बड़ा टेंशन स्टॉक मार्केट में होता है क्रैश आ गया तो. in last so many years, there has been everything. So there was Brexit, I have seen Brexit, I have seen demonetization, I have seen COVID, but in spite of everything, market has again hit a new high. So let's talk with data. If you invest for at least 7 years, since all the data we have, there has been no instance of zero returns. Like you have always made positive returns. And 98% chances you will make return of more than 7%. And 84% chances you will make more than 10% return. Which means if you are willing to invest at least for 7 years, you will make at least beat FD returns. And this does not matter आपने कभी चालू किया, आपने मार्केट के टॉप पे क्रैश आने से पहले भी चालू किया, still this holds true. Let's see. See, we are always afraid of crashes. कि यार crash आ गया तो क्या? Okay, there's a saying, more money has been lost in predicting recessions than the recession itself. हर साल 12 prediction होते कि recession आएगा, but आता नहीं है. And people keep waiting and market बढ़ते जाता है. So if you see, like fall from peak 41%, 2008 if you see 61%. So these are instances when market fell a lot. Okay, even if you invested at the peak, अगर आपने peak पे भी invest किया होता तो भी 12% return, 14%. If you invested at the COVID peak, still you made 15% CAGR. So stock market में अगर invest किया तो crashes तो आने वाले हैं. But at least 7 years you should have your long-term horizon, then you will make money. And I was talking about billionaires across the world, their major top 1% people in the world, their major wealth is in stocks, common stocks. And Nifty has beaten all asset classes, even gold. So, अभी convince हो गए कि और बोलूं? Stock market, at least you are convinced कि market में पैसा डालने से पैसा बनता है. So, let me give you one data point. See, सबको ये अच्छा लगता है यार, इसने ये stock लिया होता तो 100 गुना हो जाता, 150 गुना हो जाता, right? This is a fund in 25 years, 150 times. That is a 22% CAGR. Can you tell me कितने लोगों को ये return मिला? जिसने फंड में स्टार्ट में इन्वेस्ट किया, कितने लोगों को ये रिटर्न मिला? एनी गेस? 100, 200, 500? ओनली 12, एंड उसमें से 9 had died and 3 forgot. So which means, see, as investors we always think कि we are smart, कि यहाँ पे एग्जिट करूंगा, नीचे में लूंगा, वापस ऊपर एग्जिट करूंगा, right? But the most money in the market is made if you stay invested through all times. And this is with data I'm talking about. So industry data says, we talk about long term, right? Mutual fund sahi hai, long term investing. Only 30% of the people stay invested more than 2 years. So, because after COVID, those who invested short term, they got money. Last 2 years, no returns, like stock market, mutual fund sahi nahi hai. So see, big money is not in the buying, not in the selling, it is in the waiting. And this I'm telling you with personal experience. When I started my stock market journey, so I come from a computer science background. I could code, I could do everything. So I was like, yeah, I will basically try to time the market. I will buy here, I will sell here, I will predict everything. Then I realized, instead of doing that, if you just basically buy a mutual fund or even buy the index, you'll outperform all fund managers. So where is algo in this? So यहाँ हमने समझा कि यार स्टॉक मार्केट में पैसा डालेंगे लॉन्ग टर्म में पैसा बनता है. बट व्हाट इज एल्गोरिथम? इसमें एल्गोरिथम का क्या रोल हुआ? सो फर्स्ट इज बेसिकली किस में डालना है, क्या करना है. दैट एल्गोरिथम टेक्स केयर कि विच फंड विल आउट परफॉर्म विद डेटा एंड ऑल, लाइक व्हाट एवर वी डिस्कस्ड कि 7 साल तक इफ यू स्टे इन्वेस्टेड there has been no instance of negative return. But इसको पता है who is this guy? Jim Simons. Can anyone tell me who is the, like if we talk about investing, who is the greatest investor of all time? Warren Buffett. At what pace did he compound his wealth? Estimate, कितना? 18%? मतलब 18% में भी अपना पैसा compound किया for over a long time, you can make lot of money. This guy compounded his wealth at 70%. In fact, he made so much money that people used to give him money. He's like, मेरे को पैसा चाहिए नहीं. I don't want money. I already have a lot of money to manage. Only people in his firm could put money in his firm. The rule, if you are work, you cannot work at my company. He only hired data scientists, physicists. But this guy is a proof that if you approach market with data, he was a mathematician. Stock market का ABCD नहीं पता है. Wall Street पे कभी काम नहीं किया. But he approached the market with data and 70% CAGR. Like imagine the top investors of the world have made 20 to 25% return. But this guy made 70% return. In fact, इतने लोगों ने इसको पैसा दिया, but still he denied कि मुझे चाहिए ही नहीं. And there's a book on this. If you want, you can read this. The man who solved the markets. What he does, no one knows. But he is basically using algorithms to trade the markets. Which means if you approach the market with data, you can basically outperform others. See, this SEBI's data. All the foreign investors, 97% of their trades and profits comes through algorithms. Prop firms, 96% profits come through algos. So, see, कुछ साल पहले तक algos were only accessible to the cream crowd. Now, SEBI recently introduced a paper in which even retailers can have algos which are approved by the broker through SEBI, and then you can use that. But how does this work? See, we're talking about compounding, right? कि पैसा long term में compound करना है. सबसे best तरीका है आप mutual fund में डालो. Direct stocks में भी मत डालो. Put in a mutual fund. See, why I will tell you is, see, because I have been in the market, what happens is, you will identify 10 stocks. One stock will be such कि आप उसको बेचोगे ही नहीं. अब trading के लिए लोगे आप long term, वो गिरते जा रहा है तो भी आप बेचोगे नहीं. But in a mutual fund, you don't have to do that. The fund manager will take care of itself. So first is invest in a good mutual fund for the long term. Now, second, what you can do is you can pledge that mutual fund to get additional margin. And there is no charges for this. On top of this mutual fund, basically you're getting additional margin. You can run rule-based trading strategies. I'll give you an example of how this works, which are risk-defined and rule-based. So just to give you an example, I had positions open when 4th June happened. What happened on 4th June? 4th June last year. Election. Index almost 9% down, right? Still, like M2M was in control. So basically, these are rule-based strategy, risk-defined, and you can decide how much you want to risk. So what this does is, you are investing for the long term, average 14-15% return you are getting. You are pledging that to get additional margin. You are running algos, which are 90% only intraday trades. You are not carrying anything. This gives you additional cash flow, which you can again reinvest. So imagine you 14-15% you are getting from long term. Through this automated trading, you can get like up to 10%, even higher. But see, the more returns you chase, the more risk is there. But I have seen investors, if they are getting 14-15%, even if you get more 6-7% additional on top of your mutual funds, that is a good CAGR to have with a limited drawdown. And this, if you reinvest, your compounding again increases. Now let us see how this works. So think of this, आपका घर है, right? आपने घर investment के लिए ले लिया है, and वही घर आपने rent पे भी दे दिया. So basically, घर अगर बढ़ेगा, पैसा तो आने ही वाला है घर का. Plus you are getting a rental income every month. So same thing happens, and this is done by, and this is what we are talking about is done by all prop desk in the country. उनके पास खुद का पैसा है. That money they put it in FD or any mutual fund. They pledge it. They trade and generate more money from them. So here what happens is your investment is giving you money. उसके ऊपर basically you are trading and that also is giving you money. So we'll explain how that automated trading works. So basically, see, there are a lot of strategies which can be deployed. Okay. At the end of the session, we'll discuss also how we can do this. But basically, the strategies are quantitative. Quantitative का मतलब सब कुछ बैक टेस्ट किया गया है, लाइव टेस्ट किया गया है, सारे पैरामीटर्स चेक किए गए. डायरेक्शन न्यूट्रल मोस्टली. सी मोस्टली पीपल इन द मार्केट कैसे ट्रेड करते हैं कि कोई स्टॉक ऊपर जाएगा तो पैसा बनेगा, नीचे जाएगा तो लॉस होगा. बट दीज आर स्ट्रैटेजीज इन विच यू मेक मनी इवन इफ द मार्केट इज इन अ रेंज. And even if there's a big move, your loss is capped. So I told you, right? Back quantitative strategy का मतलब इसमें stress test हुआ है कि market अगर 10% correct होता है तो कितना loss आता है. So everything is taken care. So risk defined. And these strategies are basically not built to chase high returns, but to give you periodic income. क्योंकि आपको already your goal is कि मेरा mutual fund safe रहे, उसके ऊपर मुझे return आए. Your goal is नहीं कि इतना ज़्यादा risk लूँ कि mutual fund ही बिक जाए. So the kind of strategies that are generally deployed, statistical arbitrage. Won't go into complex terms, simple. Basically, you analyze certain stocks which move together in the past. Like past अगर आप study करोगे, and what happens is they deviate due to certain reasons. So you buy one, you sell another. Basically, it's a pair trade. आप एक पे long हो, एक पे short हो, and इसकी जो मतलब entry exits are all based on statistics. There's a concept called Z score, ADF test. Like it will be too much for this session, but it is based on complete quantitative data. कोई chart वार्ट देखने की ज़रूरत नहीं है, screen पे बैठने की ज़रूरत नहीं है. Second is theta decay. Basically options, अगर आप लोग को पता होगा, options basically decay with the passage of time. So using those options, you can try to generate some additional return every month in a risk-defined manner. एक example दूंगा मैं इसका. Third is volatility crush. See, whenever there's a big event happening, जैसे कि budget, RBI policy, right? The volatility is high. Volatility मतलब लोगों को लगता है बड़ा move आएगा. So premiums are high. But nothing happens in the event, the premiums drop. So in the market, you don't have to only trade on price कि stock ऊपर जाएगा, नीचे जाएगा. You can trade on time value. Stock उधर रहेगा तो भी पैसा बनेगा. Stock, basically, if the volatility drops, then also you make money. So these are some basically strategies which are followed by across like traders across the world. If you pick strategies, इसके ऊपर एक layer आता है HFT, which is not accessible to retail, but in the medium frequency range, घूम फिर के ये 4 से 5 strategies ही people deploy. So just to give you an example how this works is, so for example, so this is I created today only. So what is the Nifty closing price, last closing price? What is the Nifty last closing price? 24? Okay. So see, basically, this is a strategy which is basically giving you money if Nifty stays in a range. And loss is capped on both sides. This loss can be reduced based on your risk profile. So you can decide that. So if you see the margin used here is 16 lakhs. On 16 lakhs, basically in the month you can make 66,000, which is 4%. But you don't want to make 4%. Because to make 4%, you have to lose also big. So you can reduce this, and this risk will also reduce. But you see, no matter wherever Nifty goes, even if it goes to 27,000 or it goes to even 20,000, your loss is capped. And this is without any adjustment. Algos will adjust this in real time. If a move comes, these trades will be adjusted in real time. It's difficult to explain today how that happens. But overall, what I want to convey is, see, just see, break even, 24,556 and 25,444. Which means Nifty जहाँ से है, वहाँ से अगर वो गिरता है तो भी लॉस नहीं होता है, ऊपर जाता है तो भी एक रेंज तक you do not make a loss. एक बड़ा मूव आता है तो obviously आपका loss capped and there are strategies to manage this loss. So imagine this is running on top of your mutual fund portfolio. But you do not want to take this risk. 4% रिस्क ले जाओगे म्यूचुअल फंड ही बिक जाएगा. राइट? तो लॉन्ग कंपाउंडिंग खत्म हो जाएगी. सो व्हाट यू वांट इज, एडिशनली आई वुड से एनीथिंग मोर देन, see depends on your risk profile. So risk return will always come with risk. If you want 12% additional, you'll have to see 3-4% drawdown also. If you want 6% additional, drawdown can be less than 1.5%. So you can customize that, but think of this, आपका पोर्टफोलियो है जो लॉन्ग टर्म कंपाउंड हो रहा है. शॉर्ट टर्म आपको सोचना ही नहीं है. सी पिछले 2 साल में जो भी लोगों ने मार्केट में पैसा डाला, उनने क्या सोचा कि यार इतना अच्छा चल रहा है, डाल देते एक बार. But in 2 years, the returns are negative, 0, depending on the fund. But data says कि 7 साल तक if you have stayed invested, you have beaten FD returns. Suppose you have a portfolio which you are invested. On top of that, you are running algorithms. And low risk algorithms. See, I would always say algorithms have to be low risk because your collateral is at risk. Right? तो बैंक आपको पैसे कैसे देता है? आपके पास 100 रुपए है, आपको लोन देता है, बिजनेस लोन, तो कम वैल्यू में था, बस बैंक अपना रिस्क मैनेज करता है कि भाई कुछ भी हो गया इन वर्स्ट के सिनेरियो, मेरा पैसा नहीं डूबेगा. सो यू हैव टू मेक श्योर द एल्गोरिथम्स यू आर रनिंग डज नॉट हैम्पेयर योर म्यूचुअल फंड पोर्टफोलियो. ऐसा नहीं हो कि म्यूचुअल फंड के यूनिट से बिकते जा रहे, इतना बड़ा लॉस हो गया. सो दिस इज वॉट यू कैन कंट्रोल. बट द ब्यूटी इज इफ डन प्रॉपरली, most months you can generate this cash flow, and you should ideally, if you don't need this money, reinvest this cash flow. So you are doing SIP from your own portfolio, कि खुद का portfolio बन गया है, from that only you are generating returns, and उसी पे वापस SIP चालू है. So if you do this even for like 7-8 years, you will generate like basically a decent corpus for yourself, because this additional, like even if like done at low risk, you can additionally get even 5 to 6% with low risk. If you take more risk, you can make more money. But I would say 5-6%, 7-8% additional on top of the portfolio when the market is giving you ideally 13-14% is good enough. 20% में आप वर्ल्ड के बेस्ट कैटेगरी में आ जाते हो. So never chase high returns कि भाई 30%, 40%. See, I have met, as I told you, I do this podcast which I like doing, because there's no way I can connect with these billionaires other than the podcast. One thing I've realized is what they say is, see, don't you think उनके पास कितना information का access होगा? See, हमारे पास ही इतने information है, मेरा दोस्त बोल रहा है बढ़ेगा, दोस्त बोल रहा है घटेगा, उनके पास वो direct access. Still, I have seen no matter how strong idea they have, the risk they will take is always maximum. They are willing to lose 5% of their capital. Like they won't, like basic 5% of capital में उनका capital 100 है तो 5 रुपए ही उस idea में लगाएंगे. So on top of your portfolio, if you run this strategies, okay, so see आज time कम है तो हम लोग strategies पे ज़्यादा बात नहीं कर सकते, but I would want कि आप जाके ये सब थोड़ा search करो, so you'll understand क्या होता है, कैसे होता है, volatility crush क्या होता है, theta decay क्या होता है. जिसने किया है उसको साइड से आइडिया होगा, जिसने नहीं किया है just read it, statistical arbitrage क्या होता है, trend following I think लोगों को पता है. So basically these strategies can be done on top of your portfolio. So suppose कितनी बार होता है कि market आपको खराब लग रही है, so rather than selling the portfolio itself, you can basically run strategies that will give you money when the market go on the downside. So, and the beauty of these algorithms is, so first is paisa is in your account, you have the entire control, you can square off in real time, there is no lock-in. एक्टिव रिस्क मैनेजमेंट आप खुद देख सकते हो, राइट? आप किसी को पैसा दे नहीं रहे हो, पैसा इज इन योर अकाउंट, बैक टेस्टेड है, एंड बेसिकली यू डोंट हैव टू वरी अबाउट व्हाट लाइक ट्रेड्स. क्या रियल टाइम में यू कैन सी व्हाट इज हैपनिंग, क्या चार्जेस लग रहे हैं, क्या ट्रांसपेरेंसी, एवरीथिंग यू कैन सी. सो आई बिलीव इन द ईयर्स टू कम दिस इज गोइंग टू पिक अप. सेबी हैज जस्ट स्टार्टेड दिस. सो अर्लियर सेबी डिड नॉट अलाउ रिटेलर्स टू डू दिस. Now it's picking up. US में already it has picked up. जो US में होता है, India में eventually it picks up. And so even if your mutual fund does not perform for 2 years, at least you get some cash flow from this. So I think जो पहली बात तो यहाँ पे कौन कौन इन्वेस्ट नहीं करता है लॉन्ग टर्म के लिए, ऑनेस्टली बोलो. सब लॉन्ग टर्म करते हैं? नहीं करते ना. सो फर्स्ट आई वुड से कि आप एटलीस्ट एक लॉन्ग टर्म इन्वेस्टमेंट चालू करो. स्मॉलेस्ट अमाउंट भी चलेगा, कितना भी हो. सी हमेशा सोचते हैं कि मैं यार 500 रुपये से मैं क्या ही कर लूँगा, मैं 1000 रुपये से क्या ही कर लूँगा, 10,000 से क्या कर लूँगा. एटलीस्ट स्टार्ट once you start doing that, once you see that returns, automatically आप उस investment को बढ़ाना चालू करोगे. So first is एक investment start करो. उसके बाद once you are comfortable with that, deploy some algorithms, low risk. अभी भी बोल रहा हूँ low risk. You do not want to chase returns. You want some additional cash flow. So, but the beauty is money is in your account. आपको किसी को पैसा निकाल के देना नहीं है. You can see in real time. There is no lock-in. And आपको नहीं समझ में आ रहा है, you can stop it any time. So, if I just conclude this, see, compounding is the secret of the wealthy. कि आपको in the long run अगर पैसा बनाना है तो compounding पे focus करना है. And so don't go to time the market कि यार यहाँ से पलटेगा, खराब होएगा, वो होएगा. Let it be. Okay, equity is out from all asset classes. So you have to have some equity exposure depending on your risk profile. Zero मत रखो. जो भी आपका गोल है, invest for that. It could be anything. And start as soon as possible. नहीं किया है तो वेट मत करो कि निफ्टी 22,000 आएगा, 20,000 आएगा. आपको पता है जब कोविड का लो क्या था, पता है किसी को? ठीक है, तो जब कोविड का बॉटम बना ना मार्च में, निफ्टी हैड हिट अ लोअर सर्किट. तो जिस दिन लोअर सर्किट था 10% सर्किट पे इंडियन मार्केट बंद हो जाता है 45 मिनट्स के लिए इंडेक्स. जब सर्किट ओपन होने वाला था लोग बोल रहे थे आज 10% है, आज तो डबल सर्किट लगेगा, 20% निफ्टी नीचे क्लोज होगी. यू नो उस दिन पे क्या हुआ? निफ्टी वॉज डाउन 10%. क्लोजिंग पता है किधर हुई? +4%. दिस इज स्टिल डेट द हाईएस्ट एवर रिकवरी इन द इंडेक्स ऑन ए इंट्राडे बेस. मतलब 10% इंडेक्स डाउन है, 4% ग्रीन में क्लोज हुआ, एंड दैट वॉज द बॉटम ऑफ कोविड. So market will price in everything. So we don't have to, because I am telling you, because we always think कि हमको कुछ ज़्यादा आता है. See, मैंने CFA किया हुआ है, कंप्यूटर इंजीनियरिंग किया, मुझे लगता है मुझे थोड़ा बहुत ज़्यादा आता है. पर जब भी वो स्मार्टनेस दिखाई है, बाहर हो गए. So I will tell you, 8 नवंबर 2016 याद है? डिमोनेटाइजेशन. जब डिमोनेटाइजेशन हुआ ना, लोगों ने कहा कि अब इंडियन इकोनॉमी की बैंड बज गई, सब बेच दो, पोर्टफोलियो खाली कर दो. मैंने बोला यार सही है, मैंने खाली कर दिया. यू नो उस टाइम पे आई थिंक लो था कुछ 6,000. अगले एक साल में निफ्टी वॉज 12,000. सो व्हाट आई एम सेइंग इज कि मार्केट्स आर इरैशनल. सो मार्केट्स आर इरैशनल. कभी कभी आपको ऐसे प्राइस दिखेंगे जो आप सोच भी नहीं सकते स्क्रीन पे. बट इफ यू स्टे इन्वेस्टेड फॉर द लॉन्ग टर्म, एंड अगर आप लेवरेज चेक में रखोगे, see in this business बोलते हैं there are old traders, there are bold traders, but there are no old bold traders. So risk if you keep in check and you don't focus on the short term fluctuation. अगर आपका विजन है कि यार 5-7 साल मार्केट में टिकना ही है तो पैसा बनेगा ही. And be consistent and wait. See view, that's why I always say कि स्टॉक से बेटर म्यूचुअल फंड्स क्यों है, बिकॉज स्टॉक्स में क्या है, वो थोड़ा लगता है कि यार ये स्टॉक बढ़ गया, इसको निकाल देता हूँ. राइट, कभी भी लॉस वाला स्टॉक नहीं निकालेंगे. जो स्टॉक बढ़ गया 50% उसको निकालेंगे. बट म्यूचुअल फंड में आप निकालोगे नहीं, एक्सपेंस रेशियो लगेगा. म्यूचुअल फंड में इतने सारे स्टॉक्स है, अब पूरा कोई म्यूचुअल फंड इतना इजीली बेचता नहीं है. बट इंडिविजुअल स्टॉक्स में व्हाट यू डू इज यू ट्राई टू टाइम कि निकालता हूँ, करता हूँ. इट्स अ फुल टाइम जॉब. सी इफ यू कैन मैनेज 20 स्टॉक्स पोर्टफोलियो फुल टाइम, देन डू इट. ऑब्वियसली यू विल बीट अ म्यूचुअल फंड इफ यू आर गुड एट इट, बट मोस्ट पीपल कैन नॉट डू इट. सो स्टिक टू अ गुड म्यूचुअल फंड. अगर आपको म्यूचुअल फंड नहीं समझ में आता है तो एक ऐसे म्यूचुअल फंड भी है जिसमें बेसिकली आपको फिक्स्ड इनकम का रिटर्न मिलता है, FD का रिटर्न, बट टैक्सेशन इक्विटी का, मतलब 12.5% टैक्सेशन, राइट. बट बिकॉज FD में टैक्सेशन इज योर इनकम स्लैब, बट yes, arbitrage funds. And on top of that, you can run algos. So the goal is you invest in the market. See, why I'm telling you is invest is because I realized this very late. मैं trader था all my life, so I was like, trading से इतना पैसा बन रहा है, क्यों investing करनी है? But I realized कि अगर मैं सिर्फ investing करके छोड़ देता ना, I would have made more money. So basically start as soon as possible and wait for the long term and try to basically read about these algorithms. And see, आज time कम है तो I can just give you an insight कि क्या होता है. But this is happening, people are doing it at a large scale, and you can also start doing it depending on your risk profile. But again, ज़्यादा returns के पीछे मत भागना. ज़्यादा returns के पीछे भागोगे तो पोर्टफोलियो म्यूचुअल फंड ही उड़ जाएगा. एंड इफ़ यू आर इंटरेस्टेड यू कैन जस्ट स्कैन दिस एंड फिल इन योर डिटेल्स. हाँ, क्वेश्चन लेता हूँ इसके बाद. So you just scan this, fill in the details, and there won't be any spam or something. Okay? There won't be any like कोई spam वैम आपको कुछ नहीं आएगा. कर दो. If you're genuinely interested, then fill it. Okay? So, and this is my personal number. If you or my email ID, if you want to have any questions, not about this, anything in general. Okay? Okay, so that's it from my side. Again, in the end, I would only say कि long term सोचो and risk को manage करके चलो. अगर if you manage risk in this profession, ऐसा कभी time नहीं आना चाहिए आपने इतनी leverage ली कि market 10% correct हुआ आपका बहुत पैसा उड़ गया. अगर आप वो manage करके चलोगे, if you stay at least for 10-15 years, you will 110% make money. So that is given. So in equity, तो जेफ बेजोस ने वॉरेन बफे को पूछा यार आपकी इन्वेस्टिंग स्टाइल इतनी सिंपल है, कोई कॉपी क्यों नहीं करता है? तो पता है जेफ बेजोस ने क्या कहा, वॉरेन बफे ने क्या कहा? बिकॉज नो बडी वॉन्ट्स टू गेट रिच स्लो. सो इट टेक्स टाइम. यार 15% 20% में भी कंपाउंड करोगे तो कंपाउंडिंग का बेनिफिट बाद में दिखता है, जैसे हमने वो चेस के एग्जाम्पल में देखा. बट यूजिंग एल्गोरिथम वो कंपाउंडिंग थोड़ी फास्ट हो सकती है. यूजिंग SIP थ्रू दोज एल्गोरिथम के कैश फ्लो से और फास्ट हो सकती है. सो फोकस ऑन दैट एंड आई वुड से डिपेंडिंग ऑन रिस्क प्रोफाइल एटलीस्ट इन्वेस्ट समथिंग इन द म्यूचुअल फंड. भले लो रिस्क वाले में डालना है लो रिस्क में डालो, हाई रिस्क में डालना है डालो, बट देर आर फंड जिसमें आपको गोल्ड का भी एक्सपोजर मिलता है. यू गेट ऑल एक्सपोजर, गोल्ड, इक्विटी, सब. तो यू कैन डू दैट एंड टॉप ऑफ दैट यू कैन डू दिस. सो दैट्स इट. थैंक यू एवरीवन एंड थैंक यू फॉर कमिंग एंड आई विल बी रेडी टू टेक द क्वेश्चंस. नहीं, तो वो इंट्राडे में आपको नहीं चाहिए. अगर आप पोजीशन ओवरनाइट कैरी कर रहे हैं तो हाँ, ये सिर्फ इंट्राडे ही है. ठीक है. और अगर तो बेसिकली कोई भी ये लाइक जनरली व्हाट हैपेंस इज, सपोज अगर आपके पास 100 रुपये है तो 100 में से 4 से 5 रुपये आपको अलग से एज अ कैश कंपोनेंट रखना है फॉर शॉर्ट टर्म M2M सेटलमेंट्स. तो आपका ओवरनाइट अगर पोजीशन जाती भी है तो ऐसे हेज होती है कि बिकॉज इंडिया में अगर पोजीशन हेज कर गया तो आपका मार्जिन बहुत कम हो जाता है. So 95% strategies are intraday only. So and 50% का जो रूल है वो इंट्राडे पे एप्लीकेबल नहीं है. नहीं, तो अगर आपका 100 इन्वेस्टेड है तो आपको एक्सचेंज से ही हेयरकट आ जाएगा डिपेंडिंग ऑन द फंड. अगर डायरेक्ट स्टॉक से तो हेयरकट ज़्यादा होगा, स्मॉल मिड कैप है तो और ज़्यादा होगा. तो 70% तक आपको आई थिंक आइडियली पैसा मिल जाएगा ट्रेड करने के लिए. सपोज 100 है तो 70 आपको मिलेगा. अब सी ये ज़रूरी नहीं है कि मुझे 70 यूज़ करना है, बिकॉज वो इंडियन 70 तो पूरा आपका ही है, आप यूज़ कर सकते हो. आपको ये डिसाइड करना है कि ये 100 में से अगर मेरे पास है तो मैं कितने डाउन साइड के लिए रेडी हूँ. तो सो इफ़ यू आर रेडी फॉर अ 2-3% डाउन साइड कि यार आपने अकाउंट में 100 है, 4 रुपये अलग से डाल दिए. सो इफ़ यू आर रेडी फॉर अ 2% डाउन साइड और उसके अगेंस्ट में आपको 6-7% का रिटर्न मिल रहा है तो दैट इज़ गुड इनफ. बट यू से कि नहीं यार मुझे तो रिटर्न भी ज़्यादा चाहिए, तो ज़्यादा रिटर्न अगर आपको चाहिए तो आपको रिस्क ज़्यादा लेनी. तो कैपिटल डज नॉट मैटर, पोजीशन साइजिंग मैटर करती है. कि अगर आपके अकाउंट में 70 भी है तो कभी भी एल्गो पूरा 70 यूज करेगा ही नहीं. सो आइडियली आई वुड से जितना आप ले सको लो, क्योंकि इन दी एंड जितना भी रहेगा एल्गो विल नेवर यूज द फुल मार्जिन. सपोज अगर आपके अकाउंट में 70 भी है तो एल्गो जो आपकी रिस्क एपेटाइट है ना, सो मैं इसको ऐसा समझाता हूँ कि सपोज इसको बोलते हैं पोजीशन साइजिंग. सपोज आपके पास 100 रुपये, आपने कोई स्टॉक बाई किया 100 पे, स्टॉप लॉस है 98, तो रिस्क कितना है 2 रुपये का. सपोज आपका कैपिटल है 10 लाख और आप बोलते हो यार मेरा रिस्क है 1% ओनली, तो 1% रिस्क कितना हो गया 10,000, राइट. सो आपकी क्वांटिटी कितनी हो जाएगी, रिस्क अमाउंट 10,000 बाई स्टॉप लॉस 2 पॉइंट, 5,000 क्वांटिटी, मतलब 5,000 क्वांटिटी पे 2 पॉइंट जाएगा 10,000 जाएगा. सपोज यही केस में स्टॉप लॉस बढ़ के 10 पॉइंट हो जाता है तो आपकी क्वांटिटी ऑटोमेटिकली कम हो जाएगी. सो बेसिकली व्हाट एल्गोरिथम डज इज कि आप रिस्क पैरामीटर कंट्रोल कर लो, क्वांटिटी वो डिसाइड करे. कभी ऐसा हो सकता है कि एकदम छोटा स्टॉप लॉस हो तो क्वांटिटी ऑटोमेटिकली बढ़ जाएगी. बट आइडियली आई वुड से कि लाइक द रिस्क प्रोफाइल विच यू शुड बी गोइंग इज कि कभी भी आपका पोर्टफोलियो का जो ड्रॉडाउन है 3-4% से ऊपर नहीं आना चाहिए, बिकॉज यू नेवर वांट कि आपका म्यूचुअल फंड कभी रिस्क में आ जाए, बिकॉज मेनी पीपल हैव सीन दे वांट हायर रिटर्न्स ऑल्सो कि यार हमको ज़्यादा रिटर्न चाहिए, हमको साल का और 20% एक्स्ट्रा चाहिए। अगर आपको साल का और 20% एक्स्ट्रा चाहिए तो फ्री में तो नहीं मिलेगा, उसके लिए रिस्क लगेगी, और वो रिस्क कभी मार्केट खराब हो तो ऐसी भी हो सकती है कि म्यूचुअल फंड बिक जाए। तो आई वुड ऑलवेज वांट कि अगर आपने कभी मार्केट लाइक इफ यू डोंट हैव अ ट्रेडिंग माइंड, सी आई एम प्रिपेयर फॉर दैट रिस्क, बिकॉज हम लोग दिन रात ये करते हैं, बट मैं जिस बंदे ने कभी लाइक जिसका म्यूचुअल फंड है, आई वुड नेवर वांट हिम टू टेक हाई रिस्क। यू गो फॉर लोअर रिस्क एंड धीरे धीरे प्रॉफिट आते गया, यू स्टार्ट इंक्रीजिंग योर रिस्क, बट योर टॉप गोल इज कि ऐसा रिस्क मत लो कि भाई मेरा म्यूचुअल फंड ही बिक जाए, सो वो तो सबसे मतलब कंपाउंडिंग ही जीरो हो जाएगी। सो गो फॉर समथिंग, आई वुड से फॉर द स्टार्ट 7 to 8% रिटर्न एडिशनली ऑन टॉप ऑफ योर पोर्टफोलियो विच इज 0.6% अ मंथ, एंड ऐसी स्ट्रैटेजीज है जिसमें लाइक जैसे मार्केट में सर्किट भी लगेगा, आपका रिस्क डिफाइंड रहेगा। सो फोकस ऑन रिस्क डिफाइंड स्ट्रैटेजीज ओनली, कि भाई कल उठ के मार्केट में कुछ भी हो जाए, नथिंग शुड हैपन टू योर कैपिटल, बिकॉज दैट इज सेक्रेड।
हेलो,
हाँ, सो आई विल टेल यू। तो बेसिकली कैसा है, तो अभी सेबी ने क्या किया है कि यू कैन सब्सक्राइब टू द एल्गोस, ओके, सो देर इज नो, सो डिपेंडिंग ऑन द प्लेटफॉर्म, जैसे कुछ प्लेटफॉर्म्स पैसा चार्ज करेंगे, बट फॉर अस लाइक वी डू नॉट चार्ज एनी फीस फॉर द एल्गोरिथम्स। हाउ डू वी मेक मनी? तो हाउ डू वी मेक मनी, इसकी एल्गोरिथम जो ट्रेड जाती है उसकी कुछ छोटी सी ब्रोकरेज आती है, तो उससे भी मेक, बट फॉर अस इट्स एट स्केल। हम लोग एक अकाउंट नहीं देते, हम देखते कि हम हज़ारों अकाउंट में एल्गोस रन कर रहे, तो सो दैट इज, सो बेसिकली व्हाट आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट इज कि इन दी एंड एक डील कब होती है, जब दोनों पार्टीज के लिए विन विन होता है, कि क्लाइंट को 6% एक्स्ट्रा मिल रहा है आफ्टर चार्जेस, एंड आई एम गेटिंग समथिंग, एंड IIFL also is happy, so everyone's happy. Yeah, anyone else?
hi Saurabh.
Yeah.
So if I already have an existing mutual fund portfolio, you said that I can leverage it to get that additional fund. So as an individual, I can do that, or I have to go through some institution? And the second part of the question is, if I'm going to some institution, do I have to convert my mutual fund or transfer my mutual fund portfolio to them, or that can be done across the board? Like one financial house is managing my mutual fund and I want to opt for this additional funds.
Okay, so first question is, so there are two ways. So SEBI says either you go to a platform, okay, and you subscribe to the strategies. Okay, suppose like me or anyone, like you go to them and you say, yaar, we deploy those strategies in your account. You set the risk parameters कि भाई सौरभ, इससे ज़्यादा लॉस मुझे चाहिए नहीं, इससे ज़्यादा लॉस होगा, like I will stop the algorithms. So, but so most people, if you can deploy on your own also, okay, but you need to have that expertise कि भाई what will I deploy, how will I manage my risk, and it has to be automated, right? आप खुद मार्केट नहीं देख सकते कि अच्छा मैं ट्रेड कर रहा हूँ, वापस ले रहा हूँ. So to answer the first question, if you have not traded, I would say subscribe to some algorithm, but define your risk parameters कि I do not want to take this much. Second question is, see, basically what happens is the trades can go through any broker, but what happens is how do these trade go is through an API. So हर broker की API होती है which they give to the client. Using this API you can automate everything, which means you don't have to look also वो trade ले रहा है, exit कर रहा है, square off कर रहा है, everything it will do on its own without zero manual intervention. But the problem is doing across multiple brokers, the problem is you have to manage. See, what is the risk in algorithmic trading? See, हमने बात पे returns की. What is the risk in algorithmic trading? What if the broker API is down? What if, so we always think in that terms. तो अगर कभी broker API now we have a kill switch कि auto square off everything, कि भाई सब कुछ square off हो जाए, client की position zero, वैसे भी position hedged है, something goes wrong also square off everything. So to answer your second question, basically what generally, so we are all algorithms are built on IIFL platform. Why? Because see India में firstly there are very less platforms which are free, API जिनकी free है, कि वरना ideally ये API का charge आता है 2 से 3,000 rupees per month. IIFL is offering it for free, so that additionally you are saving. Plus it's stable, कि basically because I have been doing this with IIFL since last 6 years. So there have been instances जब API भले glitch भी हुआ है, but it was back up in real time. See, कोई भी broker अगर आप जाओगे, there is no broker who is glitch free. Even the biggest brokers, even institutions. I have worked with institutions also. They have also gone down. So I think, so we only do with IIFL, so we can do with other brokers, but the problem with other brokers is, so basically you have to be a partner with that broker. So I have to be registered with the broker. So if I want to give an algo, I cannot directly come and say, okay, subscribe. The algo, I have to be a basically authorized partner with the broker, and it has to be approved by SEBI, and then only we can provide algos. So yeah, if you want to explore someone who, like basically wherever your account is, so then you want someone who is basically registered through that broker with SEBI. Else not, like it anyways automatically transfers, right? Like you can transfer from one demat to another on your name only. Okay. Anyone else? Okay, so thank you everyone. I'm here. If you want to talk to me, we can talk here. And thank you for coming on a Sunday evening. Means a lot. Thank you.